These mono stringers I've talked a lot about on Instagram here, but there's just a lot of great detail. See the base plate up here is recessed in. They padded this out. This is all gonna get plastered, stop beaded up against the bottom side of this tread. And all these treads, I mean, it's all, this is a brushed stainless steel stringer, and you can see you have stainless steel plate in here that's supporting the tread, Baltic birch core. We got a piece of rubber and then some shims. The rubber is just to help deaden any of that sound. What's up, Patrick? What's going on? That's the man that's been fitting all this stuff. So these were installed three-sided, and then the bottoms were installed after. You can see how tight that fit is. But no stanchion on it. Gives it that cool floating look. So the treads look like they're just sitting on the back edge all on that tube. And then down below here, can't really see it, but that plate is also buried underneath the floor system. So the stringer actually went in when we were just rough frame, no board, no flooring, and now finished on top of that. The final staircase is this one. You can see steel stringer in the wall. They're going to do a skirt board. Basically, these are the treads, which will be 4-inch oak. They'll float between. They'll do a stringer on that wall, the 4-inch oak tread, stringer here, and this all gets wrapped in plaster. So this will get padded out, return plaster, plaster, and then all our glass you can actually see will be recessed. So this piece goes in as one piece over, and then plastered too, and this will just be a small little half wall. And then above, what was really important is that this channel lined up with this channel, and then this channel lined up with the channel above, so all the glass was in the same plane. Really easy to miss that, and I mean, realistically, maybe a lot of people wouldn't even notice it, but it was something that was important to us to make sure that all of it was essentially the same distance off this wall. You see things like this. You get a big channel here. This allows us to put the glass in and then slide it over into that slot. And then we'll put the finished flooring here. Up here, same thing. You actually see glass channels buried in the wall. You have a cavity here, and it's higher than the actual channel, and that's so we can slide our glass over into the wall and then drop it down into our shoe. This is the stuff that's really hard to plan for, because there's a lot of thought into not just what the completed product looks like, but how you're going to get this sheet of glass in, because this is going to be one sheet of glass. And we have to think about the fact that it's buried in the floor, it's buried in the wall, there's no exposed clips, angles, or anything. So we really have to think about, okay, how big does that glass get, and how do we actually get it into these cavities? So we can't just put this in at the end and have an exposed base shoe like you would think, or maybe it might be a more traditional method, but it just doesn't, it's not what we're going for. Everything here is very clean, very crisp, very minimal. As you can see, I'm gonna pop down back in the kitchen because the ceiling was plastered, and we actually have our first look at our invisible speakers. So here, this ceiling is all plastered. You can see these patches here. It's the same thing as this. So we have our blue board and our invisible speakers. So a few of you guys have asked what they are. Linear response, visible speaker, expert grade. So this shows a little cut through of how you're supposed to install it. Again, this is designed for a joint compound with drywall. Well, we're doing blue board and plaster, so it's a little different. Missing one here. You can see the ceiling is a gyp plaster throughout, and then these get compounded in after. It's really important that these get a different coat It's specific to the specifications because since it's a speaker that comes through plaster, the thickness and the material matter a lot. So you really got to work with the manufacturer's specs. These walls here, they are plastered, but they're just quote unquote rough, prepped for stone. You can see all our TrueFig outlets are prepped. So those will get TrueFig covers and then faux painted to match all of the stone. So I'll probably have Jessica come back in here and do that because you guys saw her up in the master suite, what she did. And we get this big beam here, which I know the guys had spent a little time making sure that this was super flat. Because this here is going to be one of probably the best views, right where Liz is standing. You get that straight beam, you get the 5x5 skylight shining down. You even have this weird detail where you have the floor system coming into this wall. And you have a stair here, so you couldn't have this floor system come over. So we actually had to basically notch it. But things like making sure that lined up corner bead to corner bead is really important to us. Big access panel for the hidden AV rack that actually tilts open. You can pull the AV rack out. Here's one of our rip it out mentalities. Same thing here, we have an access panel. This here is for an exhaust fan to help funnel air through the AV rack. But if you look closely, we have, this is our makeup air grill. I don't know if you can see it in the camera here, but I'd say our makeup air grill is probably 24 inches wide, and that's 23.5. So you're a 1/4 inch off on each side. So talk to the guys. We're gonna take that out, put it in storage, and get a new one to make sure it matches. Because even though this is probably gonna be buried behind furniture, the moment you see those two not line up, you'll never forget about it. So hopefully we can, if anyone's interested in a 24x24 plastered in grill, let us know. And then final piece that I want to talk about is the fireplace. So this fireplace is actually getting a plaster as well. It'll be the Devline product, and it'll be in a concrete finish. And I think what Nick's talking about is doing a negative reveal at the top and the bottom, just to make it look like a cubic structure that is kind of removed and disconnected from the rest of the surfaces in here. Similar to what we did over in Weston. I said last thing, but we get the same thing up here. Big access panel. That's a return for the Unico system. There's the other return. Everything gets plastered in as usual. So, little update on our Comm Ave project. If you like it, follow along. We'll see you guys next time.